Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to the videos that the paid request this time for Bronson. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. It could be for a topic or a tier list or review or re-review, random thoughts, video game let's play, let's try, whatever the case may be. I'll get to it as soon as I can. Again, PayPal is usually the best bet or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now this is for Daddy Daycare, 2003 film, which I've always liked. I've always enjoyed the film. I'm not going to sit here and say it's hilarious of a movie, but I think it's a cute flick. For the era of Eddie Murphy doing family films, this is one of those that I could watch and be fine with. I don't love everything about it. There's fart jokes and stuff in it that I wish were just taken out. Like I said, it's not a hilarious film. I would not put this with 48 Hours or Beverly Hills Cop or The Golden Child, which is a personal favorite of mine. But it's a cute flick. And I guess as I talk, I'm going to look at this a lot deeper than other people do. But it's because I've seen the other Eddie Murphy films of this era and the type of family films he's done. I see certain things that they do a bit different, which all these little things that most people go, who cares? But for me, I find refreshing compared to films like The Haunted Mansion and Imagine That and A Thousand Words and some of the other films he's done. They mix up a little bit. It comes off more as a cute family flick. Now, it's directed by Steve Carr, who did Next Friday, which I enjoy that film. I like the first Friday more, but Next Friday is a worthy sequel. In the cast, you got Regina King as his wife. You got Jeff Garlin as his buddy. You have Kevin Nealon. He pops up from time to time as someone's a bit of a dick. Steve Zahn, he pops in and out of the movie until a little bit into the film, he becomes sort of the third of this group that forms this Daddy Daycare Center. Anjelica Huston from the original Addams Family movies, she's kind of the head of this Marine Corps type of daycare, this uppity school. She's our antagonist in the movie. And pretty much the setup is Eddie Murphy and Jeff Garlin, they work for this advertising agency, and they're trying to sell this cereal called Veggios, which is a failed. They even warned months and months ago, listen, I don't know if there's any way you could do this, but we'll try. So they try to come up with these ads, and people come in broccoli and carrot suits, and of course the kids riot. And it's like, well, yeah, it's pretty tough to sell a vegetable cereal. And well, we're canceling it. Well, we warned you months before. So eventually they get fired. They don't know what to do. They try to look for a job. And then ultimately, Eddie Murphy starts this Daddy Daycare Center. Now, first and foremost, for the most part, well, no, say all the parts. The kids they cast, they did a good job with it because they could be very annoying and irritating if you cast it wrong. But here, Ben, the son of Eddie Murphy's character, Kamani Griffin, they cast perfectly. He's a cute kid in the fact that he's not annoying, he's not irritating. He'll say certain lines of dialogue that gets a genuine laugh. And just seems like a sweet kid who cares for his dad and has like a fun chemistry with Eddie Murphy. And you even see in the outtakes that there are moments where the kid kind of just says what he wants to say in a nice, kid way. And Eddie Murphy's like having fun, he's laughing about it. Just the kid will like ad lib and say things. There's a certain sense of innocence to the kid. And that's essential if you don't have a father-son story. I think those two worked very well. Compared to the other kids in films like Imagine That, The Haunted Mansion, the kids were kind of bland. Imagine that. I thought the little girl was a bit annoying. Thousand Words, I don't remember the kid in that. Jeff Garlin, I thought he worked well with Eddie Murphy. I thought that they had some decent chemistry with each other. And little things like this seems like the typical story of the guy who's a workaholic and he's a deadbeat dad, or he's a dad that doesn't have enough time for his son, or he's a dad who keeps disappointing his son over and over and over again. It's not really the case. Because I remember what each time we watch this, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm assuming like Haunted Mansion or A Thousand Words or like I mentioned, imagine that or other Eddie Murphy films. There's this bit for orientation for a kid's school. Oh, he's gonna miss it, and oh man, I forgot. And he doesn't miss it. He almost does, but he leaves work and he doesn't miss it, and he actually has a good relationship with his wife. In most films, it'd be those two arguing, and you need to spend more time with your son, and they don't go that route, which I appreciate. When he gets fired, and other movies, oh, I can't tell it, and then she finds out later, and then she gets mad. Why did you tell me you got fired? No, he's honest with his wife. So I like that they made Eddie Murphy's character an actual decent husband and decent dad, instead of the typical, oh, I miss my son's this, I miss this, I keep breaking promises. Again, I know people can understandably say I'm giving too much credit to the movie for saying that, but when you see so many, not just Eddie Murphy movies, but other family films that have that same fucking trope, when you see this movie do little things again and again and again that kind of shift that, it does feel refreshing to me. So again, there he makes it for orientation for his kid, and they're going through the school, and he sees how uppity it is. But okay, we'll go for it. But it just costs too much money because he gets fired. He tells his wife, and the wife is supportive. The wife, Regina King, they didn't make her bitchy. They didn't make her, how dare you get fired? No. Which, especially a movie nowadays, with how piss poorly they're written, they would have made her very just abusive, verbally, how dare you, you know. I say, what are you talking about? He didn't. But no, they don't do that. And like I say, it's not a hilarious film. You know, there are moments that kind of made me smirk. Well, he did take a flying F. Hey, he looks at this kid, FIJK P. That's not a laugh. It's not hilarious, but I'm like, kind of that those kind of reactions. I did like the montage where they're going to all the other daycares. You see how run down they are. One's like holding a baby and got a cigarette in her mouth, and like Eddie Murphy's looking at the kid, and the kid's almost ready to say, "Please help me." There's another place they go to, and they wonder where the kids are, and then this couple brings them and opens up like the basement doors. And Eddie Murphy looks at Regina King, and they run. They go, "We gotta call somebody about this." Or they stop at a place. Oh, that looks fine. Then they hear and see a bunch of cops come and surround the place, and everybody's like, "Book it." I thought that was cute. But then Eddie stays home with the kid, and the kid's like, "What are we gonna do? Oh, we're gonna have fun, son. But we need mommy to have fun." And Eddie Murphy goes, "Man, why you want to break me down?" And then you hear the kid go, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Like, that little bit there made me genuinely laugh because, again, so many movies would now put something a little bit like that. Oh, you break, you know, like the kid apologizing. "Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry." Because he seems like so innocent and so, like, oh, I feel bad for making my dad feel bad. Like I said, if you see as many movies as I do, they don't put stuff like that in. And I think some directors, writers, they don't realize that those little moments actually do help with the movie. They actually do help with the characters. In this case, basically either sympathize or like the characters just that bit more. Or the mom comes home from work and what's going on here, and then she sees that her the dad and the son are playing, and the son's like to play about his yo-yo. Oh, I didn't break your yo-yo. You're killing me. You're really killing me. And Eddie Murphy's laughing. So wow, an actual movie where a father and son seem like they have a nice, healthy relationship as a father and son. Not perfect. There's still a little bit there where Jeff Garlin tells him, "You know that thing you do with the rocket ship? He doesn't even like that." What? But he doesn't fight too much. He goes, "Okay, fine, I won't do it anymore." And they even have a little slight against the gender equality thing where they start this daddy daycare, and the women look at it and go, "I'm not leaving my kids with you. Why? But you two guys. You guys are just weirdos. You guys are just perverts. You weirdos." Oh yeah, well what about gender equality? Men can take care of kids just as well as women. And then women are like, "Oh no, they can't." Nowadays, if you did that scene, it'd be labeled sexist. But that's true. Like, again, most movies it'd be like reversed, and it'd be like the men being very. So it's kind of refreshing to see women being sexist because there are men who are sexist, sure, but there are definitely women that are sexist. So the fact that it shows that side as well, which is rare to see, especially in movies and comedies and stuff, especially today. Right, this was, God, over 20 years ago now. So again, a movie to show that even some women can be sexist to the men, which is a reality. Just like there are men that are sexist to women, which is a sad reality. I like that that was put in there a bit. But at the same time, it's not a political statement or anything. They don't hammer it in like they would in a movie today. And then yeah, it's them getting a couple kids for the day-to-day care. They try to do their best. They try to figure out what to do. And then the kids, you see, like one has a Flash costume, will never take it off. One is a cleanie. And I think the mom said, "Oh, I just got him off breastfeeding." And Jeff Garlin's like, "Yeah, I don't blame him for being mad." And like the kid's like cleanie, but then Jeff Garlin's like, "Oh, I'll give you this, I'll give you this. How about money?" And the kid's like, "Ah," and then gives her like $1. Ah, somehow that just always did make me laugh. I'm like, smart kid. This one girl. Again, they did cast the kids right, and she's like trying to repeat what the mom told her, what she can and can't eat, what ingredients she can't eat, and like try to say these big words. Even Eddie Murphy's like, "Could you say that word again? That's so cute." I forget what the word is, but it's like a very long technical jargon word for ingredients and foods. They don't go too in depth on the kids. Like one is Jeff Garlin's kid, and one is a kid who kind of being a dick and he's kicking people, but then by the end he's well behaved. One kid talks and they can't understand what the hell he's saying until much later on Steve Zahn joins it and realizes that the kid's talking clean on. So yeah, I mean they don't go in depth on the kids, but that was fine because we're centered more on Eddie Murphy, and it's also nice. Like obviously he started this to have a job, but he also started for his kid to have friends. And just like again, the little moments between Eddie Murphy and the son are rather sweet. Like, "Hey son, I'm sorry that I didn't pay attention to you. I was busy with the other kids, but you and me, we're here. What do you want to do? Read you a story, okay?" So he reads a story about an elephant, and he does his elephant sound. Do it again. No, I can't. Daddy will have an aneurysm. But again, it just as yeah. To repeat one last time, I know I'm giving the movie too much credit, but when you see so many of these type of films, it's refreshing to see. Oh no, in a typical movie like this, it'd be he's in the middle of reading the story, but then he gets a phone call. So I got. How many times have you seen that? He's going to do something with his kid, but then, oh, I gotta take this. Oh, sorry, I gotta take this. I'll be right back. And then they're working, and then the mom yells at the dad, and your son, blah blah blah. Is it too many times? So when they don't do that, it just feels that much more refreshing. And you see like little hijinks that happens, a lot of hijinks. Eddie Murphy and Jeff Garlin getting in those carrot and broccoli suits and doing a wrestling for the kids. And Eddie Murphy's like trying to talk to like Hulk Hogan. Let me tell you something, brother. So it's kind of funny to see Eddie Murphy try to talk like Hulk Hogan. And then Steve Zahn joins the group. I like the bit when he's trying to talk to the kid who's wearing the Flash outfit, and the kid keeps talking about all these villains, and Steve Zahn has to keep correcting him. Oh no no no, that's not a Flash villain. That's a Superman villain. No no, that's a Batman villain. No, that's another Batman villain. So you need. And he starts naming off all the Flash villains, and the kid's kind of like staring at him as if that's the Flash's. Yep, that's the Flash's villains. And then Steve Zahn looks at Eddie Murphy and Jeff Garlin going, those are wrong villains. Like, what are you doing to these kids? So that's kind of fun in a nerdy comic book way. And there's a bit where they have a chocolate rush and they're running around being crazy. A sugar rush. There's a bit where they show their pets. I mean, I would say yeah, films like Kindergarten Cop a little bit more funnier, have a bit more memorable lines. It's not a tumor. Who's your dad and what does he do? But I think that also with Arnold and that type of with his accent, it makes certain scenes that would not be funny with any other person saying the lines, but it's funnier because he's saying it with the accent. And also some fun songs on the soundtrack. I Want to Be Sedated, Ballroom Blitz, songs of that nature. This is, da 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 ballroom blitz, or I Want to Be Sedated. There's some pretty good songs on the soundtrack. And I mean, the story, Anjelica Huston realizes more and more people are leaving her establishment to go to here because there's more leeway. So she sits like one of these people to see what violations they have, and Eddie Murphy and Jeff Garlin, they keep fixing it up. Until ultimately, there's a big event. Anjelica Huston gets it screwed over, but then a couple things happen. They're able to fix it up, and things are fine and dandy by the end of the day. So you're not going to this for the deep plot or the original storytelling. But Eddie Murphy feels a little bit at home in here. He feels a little bit more comfortable compared to, again, like a Haunted Mansion and some other family films. Like I said, I like the support of Jeff Garlin and Steve Zahn. I can't wish Steve Zahn had come in earlier in the film, because I do like Steve Zahn. He was in Joyride. He was in Saving Silverman. So yeah, I do like Steve Zahn as an actor. So you see him early on, then he disappears for a chunk of the movie. I kind of wish that he was incorporated to Daycare in earlier. I could do without the fart jokes, because like there's some farts, and then takes the kid to the bathroom, and then he goes, "I missed what?" And then Eddie Murphy looks. Now, thankfully, we don't see what he's seeing, but you get the idea of Eddie Murphy look at it, and you have the psycho music playing. which, I mean, it's not my favorite scene, but it could have been done a lot worse. But it's a cute family film. I think, with the family films Eddie Murphy did, I thought this is actually one of the better ones, and it was a hit. It made like $100 million at the box office, which is surprising, but maybe some people felt the same way I did. Hey, it's a cute film. For the most part, it's harmless. The kids, they're not too annoying or anything. Actually works out. So, yeah, maybe they felt the same way I did.
Draw your ideal hole. Attack hold.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, draw. I was trying to look at the boxes to make sure, and then an ad popped up. Draw your hole. Like, here's an app game. No, I don't need to draw a hole. I don't need to play with my asshole. Shut up with the ad. These advertisements. Like, every 5 seconds, an ad. Anyway. But yeah, I think it was $100 million it made the U.S. box office. Yeah, I mean, sure, it would have been nice to be a bit more wittier, funnier. Not every Joe word, but I thought it was a fun time at the movies. I still do to this day. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye for now.